Hey y'all, I'm Amanda, and this is my project on concealed weapons in public places. It seems like every time we turn around, another tragic shooting massacre has occurred in the United States. This fact affects each and every one of us as we have a right to feel safe as we send our children off to school, attend a movie, or go for a shopping spree at the mall. Drastically lenient gun laws supported by the NRA and the gun industry are being passed in the already overgun populated America. The intense argument continues between those who think we need more guns to protect ourselves and those who believe more guns equate to more senseless killing. Most appalling is the fact many states now allow concealed firearms to be carried in public places such as bars, schools, and churches. The 45th mass killing spree at a school this year occurred in October in Roseburg, Oregon. It is also the 142nd school shooting since the massacre of 20 first graders and 6 adults at Sandy Hook Elementary in 2012. Every time rampages like these occur, the shocking knights gun control and gun rights advocates into action. Following the shootings in Oregon, which left 10 people dead, President Obama stated, "It cannot be this easy for someone who wants to inflict harm on other people to get his or her hands on a gun." Even though the president has proposed reform gun laws, little progress has been made, mostly due to activists claiming Second Amendment rights in order to object to any restrictions on their rights to own a gun or where they can be carried. They are making great strides in their fight, as there are a reported 270 million guns currently in America. Pro-gun advocates won big in 2013 when Illinois became the last state to allow carrying concealed weapons, even after a veto from the governor. Due to the Republican-controlled Congress, hopes of gun control litigation changes are currently dim. As a result, those fighting for legislation are concentrating on trying to get laws passed in all 50 states and requiring mandatory background checks before being able to buy a gun. On a positive note, the state of Oregon just passed such legislation in August of this year. These laws mandate criminal and mental health checks for each and every gun purchase, including private and online sales. 18 other states have passed the required background checks legislation. However, Oregon is only the 12th state to mandate the background checks for private sales. Gun control advocates and politicians contend this type of litigation is imperative as a judicious approach to preventing crime and gun violence in America. The focus of my research is on litigation, which allows concealed weapons in public places, specifically college campuses. Unfortunately, in the United States, the carrying of concealed firearms is being legalized in an increasing number of public places. The reason I chose this focus is because, as a current college student, that is an alarming fact. In June of this year, Texas became the 8th state to pass legislation which allows anyone with a concealed weapon license to carry a concealed and loaded firearm not only on campus but inside campus buildings. The law follows other such state legislation in Utah, Oregon, Colorado, Kansas, Mississippi, Wisconsin, and Idaho. The state of Arkansas passed a law allowing faculty only to carry concealed weapons, although every college there has chosen not to, thanks to a provision allowing them to do so annually. 19 states do have laws in place that do not allow campus carry, and 23 states choose to let the decision be made by the individual college or university. There are various differences in the legislation and its restrictions in each of these 8 states. The state of Utah is the only state that has a statute which names public colleges and universities public entities, which means they are not authorized to prohibit concealed carry on campus and in its buildings. Wisconsin, Idaho, and most colleges in Mississippi ban guns in buildings such as dorms, event centers, and dining halls. Due to provisions for exemptions in the laws, the states of Kansas and Oregon have been able to prohibit firearms on campus for a specified number of years or until gun rights advocates sue them. In both Colorado Court of Appeals versus Colorado State in 2010 and the University of Colorado versus Students for Concealed Carry on Campus in 2012, the Court of Appeals ruled the Colorado Board of Regents has no authority to ban concealed carry on their public college campuses. These rulings, along with a similar one in 2011 in Oregon, reversed many years of gun bans on college campuses. I agree with many analysts who say that the turning point for the progression of numerous gun rights laws began with the District of Columbia versus Heller in 2008 and the McDonald versus City of Chicago in 2010. These cases both ruled the Second Amendment provides one's right to own firearms for self-defense in the home, but didn't address outside the home. However, the Supreme Court did say firearms in the hands of felons and the mentally ill and in sensitive places such as schools and government buildings should be prohibited. Later in Moore v. Madigan in 2012, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit ruled the Second Amendment applied to guns outside the home as well, but did go along with Heller's suggested ban in sensitive public places. However, it stated the bans couldn't apply to every public place. This ambiguity, in my opinion, has led to guns on college campuses, bars, restaurants, and other inappropriate places. The map below is an example of this and how it shows the status of campus carry legislation in America. Many of the states even have unclear gun laws regarding this issue. Florida, Georgia, Arizona, and Kansas are currently pushing legislation to allow campus carry, which will add to the 8 states which already passed such laws. I agree with legal scholars who confer that we should prohibit gun possession by felons and the mentally ill and create laws which prohibit concealed carry weapons in such places as schools and government buildings. In researching this issue, a huge problem I see is that most online and private sales are not regulated like a brick and mortar store, which creates a huge loophole for criminals to get guns. Additionally, there is a huge discrepancy of laws in the states regarding background check and permit requirements. Due to inadequate permit laws and the fact that 6 states do not currently even require permits to buy firearms just creates another easy way for guns to get in the wrong hands. In my opinion, every state should require the same rigorous background check and regulated permits for each and every gun purchase, whether bought at a store or online, and every person who buys a firearm should complete extensive gun use and safety training. I don't disagree with the right to own a gun, but I do feel like that right comes with a considerable responsibility. I also believe public safety should be more important than one's right to carry a loaded gun in a crowded public place. America's murder and gun ownership rates are among the highest in the world. Not surprisingly, law enforcement agencies and university officials are against guns on college campuses and other public places. Their concern over such things as accidental shootings, incompetent gun handlers, and confusion at the crime scene are extremely worrisome. More guns means more violence in most instances, especially in crowded public places. Despite these facts, the NRA continues to push to allow firearms in schools, colleges, churches, parks, airports, public transit, bars, and restaurants. Gun advocates love to prey on people's insecurities and say they have a right to protect themselves against criminals with guns. The businesses of the gun industry and outdoor recreation are more profitable when we don't set limits on who and where one can carry guns. Therefore, their almighty bottom dollar depends on more guns and lenient gun control legislation. They are not concerned that when firearms are allowed in public, it places hardships on business owners such as liability issues, increased security, legal expenses, and insurance costs. Although most states which allow concealed carry have statutes where a business can choose to put gun-free signs up, it is still an added worry and inconvenience. When it comes to something as dangerous as guns and the laws which govern their use, common sense should prevail. There are simply some public places where loaded firearms have no place, of which public colleges are a prime example. Everyone has the right to be safe while sitting in a college lecture, in church, eating at a restaurant, or cheering on one's favorite sports teams. Thorough gun violence prevention strategies and common sense gun control legislation is imperative to provide such security. And that's it. Here are my works cited pages. That's the first one, second, third, and fourth one. Thanks.